Hey, if you're new here, I'm Bruce. In today's video, I'll be talking about Hawaii and its islands. So maybe you're going to Hawaii and want to know which island to go to. Or you just can't get enough of my average to below average videos. Well, either way, thanks for joining, and please stick around while I break down what we liked and didn't like about each island. I'll be starting from our least favorite and ending with our favorite island. And the list may surprise you. To provide our island credentials, from 2018 to 2023, our family has been to Hawaii 5 separate times. Before that, we tried to research the best islands for us, but we think we were slightly misled. We had watched YouTube videos, read blogs, and had a general idea of which islands were suited for which kinds of people. But surprisingly few people recommended our favorite Hawaiian island. Disclaimer: our opinions are based on our experiences. As your experiences are different, your opinions will differ as well, and that is okay, my friends. Another disclaimer: we haven't been to the Big Island, or really most of the 137 smaller islands that make up Hawaii. I'll only cover islands we have first-hand experience at. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, starting off with the first island, Molokai, nicknamed the Friendly Island. Population of only 7,400 people. What I liked about it was very slow-paced and peaceful, not many cars, people, stores, etc. Personally, for us, we have family on the island, so that was an obvious draw. We also liked the North Shore. This was nearly inaccessible from what we heard. You had to either hike over or take a boat and then swim in. In this area we met and heard about people who were living off-grid and had some wild stories, so yeah, it was very interesting. What we didn't like about Molokai. Molokai had very little to do on the island. There weren't many restaurants, stores, hotels, etc. We also didn't like how hard it was to get there. It was the hardest island by far to get to of the 4 major islands on our list. It required taking a tiny island hopper plane, and that was one of the scarier experiences of our lives, for sure. So yeah, if we go to Molokai again, I definitely don't want to take a tiny plane. Another thing we didn't like about Molokai, it wasn't a huge deal since we were invited by family and friends for a wedding, but there were a lot of signs along the main road that goes along the island that says, "Tourists go home," "F off tourists," etc. So I understand where they're coming from and it makes sense. So would we recommend Molokai? I would say no. I have love for Molokai, but I would not recommend it to the average person. So who is Molokai for? I think Molokai would be for someone who wants a very slow, almost off-grid type vacation, and I guess also anyone who's into leprosy. Molokai does have a leper colony that you could get to if you ride a donkey over a hill.
Donkey! Woo, look at that!
Okay, next up is Maui, the Valley Island, which I was calling the Dry Island when we were there in 2018, with a population of 117,000 people. What we liked about it, it was relatively cheap. Some neighborhoods were pricey, but they were pretty affordable places, I would say. We liked the road to Hana. That was really cool, beautiful drive. Some cool spots to stop at along the way. We also liked a bamboo hiking area that was on Maui, and a black sand beach. Those are some of the highlights for us. Alright, what we didn't like about Maui. We didn't like how dry it was. I know this is kind of foreshadowing their bad fire they had recently, but in 2018 we came from California in summer and we landed there and it was pretty similar. I think the environment and terrain, a lot of the parts of the island were like, hey, this could be Central Valley, California. So that was kind of interesting, something we didn't like about it. Another thing we didn't like about it, and this wasn't a huge deal, but there was a lot of broken down cars on the sides of roads that I assume are too expensive to haul off, so kind of reminded us of some post-apocalyptic TV show or something. Would we recommend Maui? Yeah, I think so. If you find a good deal on a flight or a resort or whatever, there are some good places to see and do, and there was some good food there. We had a farm-to-table restaurant a few times. There was good brick oven pizza, so yeah, I could see it being good for someone to go see. Okay, next up is Oahu, nicknamed by me the overpopulated island. Population of 876,000 people. What we liked about it. We liked Honolulu. Honolulu, the major city there, has a lot to offer. Great food and restaurant scene. Vibrant downtown. Just so many things to do and walk to. We had great udon noodles, sushi, breakfast places, etc. We liked how diverse Oahu is. We met and heard people from Japan and Korea and just around the world were visiting there. Another thing we didn't like about Oahu was the traffic. Seemingly anywhere we wanted to drive, we'd get stuck in traffic, and I mean, we're from the SF Bay Area, so if we wanted to be stuck in traffic, we would have just stayed home, right? Another thing we didn't like about Oahu was the prices. Downtown Waikiki was very expensive, but often we'd choose to stay there just for all the amenities and food and to have a walkable lifestyle. So would I recommend Oahu? I would say definitely yes. It was our second favorite island. If you want nightlife, luxury shopping, nice beaches, even some World War II histories there, I would recommend Oahu. Okay, and that leads us to our favorite island. Drum roll, please. And our favorite island was Kauai, the Garden Island. Population of only 58,000 people. What we liked about it, we liked the nature, how lush and green and beautiful it was. Many to almost all places on the island we went to just felt like we were in a tropical jungle, and it was amazing. We also liked how many fun excursions, tours, and adventures there are on Kauai. Some of our favorite adventures and all of our Hawaii experiences have been on Kauai, and two main ones stick out.
Was it worth it?
It's so worth it. It's probably the coolest waterfall I've seen.
One was the Hanakapiai Falls hike, and the other one was the No Doors helicopter tour we did. Both of those are just absolutely amazing experiences, bucket list level items that we still look back on fondly as some of our best travel highlights today. Hanakapiai Falls hike was amazing. It was my favorite hike of all time, I think. It was a 7-hour round trip with 6 hours of hiking and 1 hour of relaxing and swimming. And it wasn't the most physically hard, but it was sprinkling the whole time, so it was muddy and slippery. There were many river crossings, and Liz even took a spill on one of the first ones, but she was a trooper, and it ended up being a great day. When you get to the top and you kind of see the waterfall open up through the trees, it was majestic. The waterfall was 300 feet tall, and I got to swim in the pool at the bottom of it for half an hour to an hour before the next person completed the hike and were up there with us. So that was amazing. Felt like we had just discovered it. Then the other thing in Kauai we liked a lot was the helicopter tour I alluded to. We got to see the Nepali coast from another angle. We got to just ride in a no-doors helicopter, which is wild in itself. You know, the 45-degree angles or whatever the helicopter rotates when it turns was wild. Just praying that that little harness they have in there is gonna hold for you. So yeah, we really recommend both that hike and the helicopter tour. They're experiences you definitely won't regret doing. Another thing we liked about Kauai was how accessible it was in a good way. You could easily drive from north to south for a day trip depending on where you're staying, and we enjoyed that. Another thing we liked about Kauai was how many chickens there were. I guess some storm let a bunch of chickens out of containment. Now there's just chickens everywhere on Kauai, so.
What about the chickens?
The chickens are just like freeloaders. Get out of here, you darn chickens.
If you're going to get brunch, there's going to be chickens hanging out. If you're going for a burrito after a hike, there's going to be chickens. If you're going on a hike, there will be chickens on the hike. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. Things we didn't like about Kauai, I think the only thing that came to mind for Liz and I were prices. Things like sunscreen from Walmart were really expensive, or even buying produce and like pineapples from grocery stores just seemed very, very expensive.
You can find me in the sunscreen aisle.
So would we recommend Kauai? No doubt. Kauai was our favorite island. We have fond memories of it. So who's Kauai for? I'd say Kauai is for the adventurous types, those who want to get out, hike, see beauty like from Hawaiian movies, aren't worried about doing fancy shopping or just laying around next to a pool. I'd say Kauai is for you. Alright, and that's the video, so thanks for sticking around and watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, etc. Help out the channel. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Now that we're in the air, we'd like to call your attention to the no smoking and fasten seatbelt signs.